Playoffs are here. A lot of playoff matchups still up in the air because we have 2 Monday night games for whatever reason. We decided to do that late December or middle of December. So I know for most people, there's still some guys out there with some decent teams. So, but we had some huge performances. We had some disappointing ones. We'll jump right into it. Starting off with maybe the biggest, Davante Adams, 12 targets, 9 catches, 198 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And I double checked at halftime, he had 2 targets and 0 catches. So he put up 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in a half.
Yeah, I was kind of
insane.
Red zoning, watching the red zone, and I thought, oh, it's not going to be very good for me because I got him on a team, and then all of a sudden, boom, it started, and then he caught a couple passes, and then he caught a big long bomb, and I thought, man, here we go. And
yeah, I mean, that game for the morning game was the most exciting game of, even though it was 2 teams that are out of the playoffs and battling for the number 1 overall pick, that was the most exciting game in the morning. So, just it's one of the greatest halves you will ever see. So a guy putting up 200 yards and 10 catches and 2 touchdowns in a half. So, and Rodgers has looked good since they've come back from their bye. 5 games since their bye, and especially his last 4 games, he has 2, 1, and 3 touchdowns. Last 2 games, he's almost over 300 yards, about 300-yard average last 2 games. So I wonder if they're going to think about bringing him back. I wonder if they
are you kidding?
They're going to think about it. I mean, they might. Where else are they going to go?
Well,
draft a young quarterback and then have Rodgers play 1 more year.
Yeah, so Rodgers can push him off to the side. Rodgers don't like young players, he kind of screwed over the Green Bay wide receivers, I don't know. He's a bum. He can take his millions and go play for the Titans or something.
It makes you think, though, if they maybe do it and they give him 1 more chance and bring back Davante Adams and they throw it all back together.
Jeez.
And see, if they make the excuse of like, hey, this is what we were supposed to look like all year, and this is what.
Yeah, they fire their head coach, who was the defensive guy, and their defense has sucked since then.
Yeah.
So nothing makes sense there with those guys. So.
No.
I'm glad I'm not a Jets fan.
No, it's been rough for the Jets. Derrick Henry, and honestly, a lot of the top running backs, older running backs that got you to the playoffs, not older, but a lot of the top running backs that got you to the playoffs were disappointments this week. Derrick Henry is one of them, only 67 yards. Saquon Barkley was another one. He had 74 total yards with just 2 catches. Joe Mixon was another one. Joe Mixon had 56 yards, but he had 5 catches, fortunately, but only 56 total yards. So those guys that kind of got you here, they were disappointments this week. Montgomery, Kyron Williams was a bit of a disappointment. Alvin Kamara did get you 13, or in half PPR, he got a little bit more. You got you 15 points, so you're happy there. Achane was kind of a down game, so Chuba Hubbard. So a lot of these running backs that got you there, unfortunately, especially the top tier guys and Saquon, Henry, and Mixon, had bad games. And that's just, the randomness of fantasy football, right? Like you get that 1 week where you guys just don't hit, you're out of the playoffs, easy as that. So there's not much you can do about it. You got to hope at least some of them hit or something. Hopefully you survived and moved on, but tough to see with Henry. Do you think there's anything to him potentially slowing down a little bit? He's been good. I mean, his last 2 games, he had over 100 total yards, 111, 140. He just hasn't been getting touchdowns. 3 straight games now without a touchdown, considering he was on pace for 25 plus. And he started the season scoring a touchdown in every single game, and then hasn't had one in the last 3 weeks. So are we seeing him slow down, or it's just Lamar being Lamar and it's just going to happen?
Yeah, I don't know if he's slowing down. It's just maybe the game just kind of where went the way the direction that it did or something like that. So it's I don't know. It's yeah, I wouldn't I know the playoffs, everybody you need everybody to produce on your team, if you're going to move forward and stuff like that. So it's kind of a hard thing to say.
Mhm.
Because you need Derrick Henry. I don't know if he's slowing down. We'll see.
Yeah.
We're getting kind of late in the season, so
Well, it might not even matter if you got eliminated because of it. So it depends on who you have on your team, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that had those guys, Henry, Mixon, Saquon, that were easily carried you to the playoffs. And again, you're potentially out now because of it. So Saquon only 36 yards away from 2,000 total yards. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, 18 targets, 14 catches, 193 yards, and a touchdown. Kind of the game we've been waiting for with Amon-Ra, maybe not to this extent, but he's had a couple big games this year. It seems like about every 4 games he's putting up a really big game. You might see more of this with the Lions' defense as bad as beaten up as it is. We might be seeing a little bit more of big fantasy performances for the last couple of weeks here. They play the Bears and 49ers, so we'll see, but defense is really beat up, so maybe they need to lean on their offense a little bit more. So are you kind of expecting that with the Lions offense? They're going to become, or Lions in general, they're going to become a little bit of a fantasy gold mine these
yeah,
last couple of
I
weeks?
think the Lions are they're going to have to the way their defense just got an update. Defensive tackle Aleem McNeil knee, another guy broken jaw. It's like okay, so there's no more players to be pulling off the street to bring onto your practice squad and stuff like that. You're kind of stuck with what you got, and so okay. So what does that mean with St. Brown and the Lions? They're going to have to outscore teams. With Buffalo, their defense, they ran into an offense just as good, maybe better than theirs, and and they got behind, and it became a track meet. So guys like St. Brown and stuff like that, they're it has to be. These guys are must plays, and you're gonna be getting big scores out of these guys.
Yeah. Yep, indeed. Yeah, it is funny with Amon-Ra. Like literally every 4 games, he has like a big game. Uh, so it was like week 2, and then week 7, and then week 11, and then week 15. It's kind of interesting, but obviously he's on. He's already over 1,000 yards. It's kind of funny because 3-4 weeks ago we were looking at it. We're like, man, he's not even on pace for 1,000 yards. Now he's already over 1,000 yards with 95 catches, double-digit touchdowns. So quickly how quickly that changes. I have Isaiah Pacheco in here as a loser. Basically split 50-50 with Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, 28 snaps. Isaiah Pacheco, 27. Samaje Perine, 17. The early down work was 25 in favor of Kareem Hunt, 23 for Pacheco. Short yardage was 4-3. Third down stuff was Samaje Perine. So that makes Pacheco, unless there was an injury that we don't know of, that makes Pacheco like not startable. If you're only getting early down work and you're not even getting all of it, you're splitting it. It makes you not startable. So he is a disappointment yesterday. 32 yards on the ground, a catch for 15 yards. So just something to note there. If you were relying on Pacheco, luckily, if you made the playoffs, it probably because, you didn't have Pacheco most of the year. So if you made the playoffs, your team should be able to survive without him. But if you were going to rely on Pacheco to help you during the playoffs, I don't know if it's going to happen unless it comes out that he was injured because he was in a split with Kareem Hunt and Samaje Perine is still being involved. So just wanted to throw that out there. Plus, Mahomes might be injured, and that whole offense might suffer a little bit. But we'll get into more of a positive. Brian Thomas Jr., 14 targets, 10 catches, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. By the way, he did this with Mac Jones. This guy's really good. I didn't think he was going to be this good this soon. I liked him. I thought he was going to be more of just like a big play guy his first year, stretching the field, stuff like that. He's an all-around receiver. He's doing these type of things with Mac Jones. He's going to be up there in receiving yards and catches. He's on pace for over 1,150 yards. He's going to have double-digit touchdowns.
He kind of got forced into it a little bit, and he produced, So it's nice. It's nice that that's happened, and him and Neighbors were on the same college team, and stuff like that. Kind of makes you wonder why they didn't win it all. But he's like I said, he was forced into it. Now Evan Ingram's out. Kirk's been out for a while, and they're on a backup quarterback. So, and he's the man right now, and he's doing well.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just you don't have to worry about Mac Jones. Like Mac Jones is getting him the ball. That's all we care about. So, Jameis Winston, just to show you how rough fantasy can be, 146 passing yards, 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions, or 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and a fumble. If you do the math there, for some of you, he had negative points. He didn't even have six total points in passing yards, and depending on what you get for interceptions and fumbles, he could have went negative, could have gone negative for you. So from his big this is just Jameis Winston's career in a nutshell, like beating the Ravens and beating the Steelers and putting up 500 passing yards and 4 touchdowns to 4 turnovers, 150 passing yards. Like, this is just Jameis Winston. Shows you why a team can't really build around him. And yeah, if you started him, it sucks because he was the ultimate like boom bust type of quarterback, and he basically lost you your week. So yeah, are they going to bench him for DTR, you think, or they're just, what's the point?
I don't know. I don't know what they think of DTR moving forward and stuff like that. I mean, Cleveland's obviously they're not in any kind of a playoff race or anything else. So I don't know. They'll just I wonder how the team views it and stuff like that. But that's I didn't know he could have negative numbers, but
yeah,
it's kind of yeah. I do. And did Njoku, did he play?
No, he didn't play.
Oh yeah, okay. Well,
no, it was. It's going to be bad though. If DTR takes over, it's not going to be great for Jerry Jeudy, who still had a good game, by the way, despite Jameis Winston. He had 108 receiving yards from 14 targets. Jerry Jeudy did, so it's not going to be good for him. That's for sure. It's not going to be good for any of the receivers if Jameis isn't there. Mr. Reliable, James Conner, 110 rushing yards, 5 catches, 28 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The dude just every single year he's a top 10 ever since he came to Arizona, this is his 4th year there now. He's been a top 10 guy in whenever he plays. This year he's playing every game. This is maybe, cross your fingers, his first season where he plays every game. He needs at least 2 more that we care about for fantasy, but 3 more for a full season. He has over 1,300 total yards already, 8 touchdowns with 40 catches. So he was one of the older guys that didn't let you down. So just keep riding James Conner, right, until
absolutely
you win your championship.
He's the focus of the offense too, and I mean, Kyler Murray's the quarterback, but he doesn't seem to be lighting it up really great. I mean, he's doing okay, but James Conner, and Trey McBride on in general on the Cardinals. They're kind of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, on pace for over 1,600 total yards, 50 catches, and about 10 touchdowns this year is James Conner. So it's just what he does. It's just what he does. Already career high. Well, no, not career high in total yards. So, but we've seen this. He's just been awesome. Whenever he plays, he's been awesome. And yeah, he's definitely the attitude of that team. By the way, Trey McBride still no touchdown catch, even though they designed a on the 1 yard line, a shovel pass to him, little trick play. Couldn't get in somehow. Guy has 90 catches and no touchdowns, amazingly. So Tyreek Hill is a loser here. I don't know if he got shut down or something by Stingley. I think Derek Stingley did shut him down a bit. 7 targets, 2 catches, 36 yards. Huge disappointment. This whole game was a huge disappointment. I thought it was going to be a bit more of a shootout. It wasn't. It was 20-10. No one really did well in this game at all on either side. Tua, Stroud. Tua had less than 200 yards passing, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Stroud had 130 yards passing. He had 2 touchdowns, but just 130 yards passing. HN on the ground led Miami, led the entire game with 41 yards on the ground. And Malik Washington led the entire game in receiving yards with 52. The only player that was good was Jonnu. So we'll talk about him later or next. But yeah, Tyreek Hill, huge disappointment considering how Miami was going. Yeah, if you drafted Tyreek Hill this year, I mean, you're lucky if you made the playoffs, to be honest, because you took him maybe number 1 overall. So if you made it, great. And if you lost because of it, it's kind of sucks. Kind of sucks because you had to start him, right? It was almost impossible to bench Tyreek Hill. So thoughts on Tyreek?
No, I just think the whole season's kind of been kind of a not very good for him. I don't know what the problem is. I know it's, he got arrested going into the game there back in September. And, something's going to come out, like, oh, I had a bad wrist or a bad knee or something like that. And obviously the Tua concussion affected the whole Dolphins offense. Not only did Tyreek Hill lay a big egg, but Jalen Waddle.
Well, everyone did.
Had a big fat 0. I mean, I think he got injured or something. Something happened, and it's like, geez. It's like, come on, Dolphins. It's like, well,
it's everyone in this game. Achane was bad. Everyone. So, I guess Achane did have. Oh no, never mind. Yeah, he does have a wrist injury, by the way. He'll get surgery on that. Maybe, I mean, the Dolphins, I think, are basically out of the playoffs. I think they have like a 3% chance or whatever, but he could potentially get shut down at the end of the year. And yeah, he does have a wrist injury and he'll get surgery on it. The only guy to come out from this game was Jonnu Smith, who just keeps on doing it. So now we're at the place where Jonnu Smith is on pace for, let me see here. He's on pace for 900 yards. He's going to have 8 touchdowns, it looks like, 7 or 8 touchdowns. And he's going to have 85 catches. No one expected this from Jonnu Smith. And if you got in early on him, you've been kind of riding that wave. I have a dynasty team. We're actually traded for him before the season started, a 4th-round pick and tight end premium league. And I'm, obviously that helps me there. But yeah, he's been awesome. And he's been awesome as of late. So he has 5 touchdowns in the last 5 games. So what did you want to say? Anything else on Jonnu or just,
Yeah, it's man, it's been a decent ride here. Most of the season, especially the second half, it just seems like this guy, he seems to be riding the wave a little bit. And I
Yeah.
I have a I have a dynasty league, and it's tight end premium. Well, I got two tight ends, Hawkinson and Janu. So I play them both. I don't know if I get points for both, but my wide receiver situation is so lousy. I just play Hawkinson and Janu and just ride what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. Since week 5, which is when he really started to get going, he had a good game in week 2, but first 4 weeks he had 78 total yards and 9 catches in the first 4 weeks. So he was averaging 2 catches and 20 yards a game. Since week 5, he's on pace for his 17 game pace would be 1,130 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 100 catches. So um, that's basically what he's been since week 5. And we thought it was going to end when Tyreek came back or when Tua came back, and it has not ended. So last loser here, we have Marvin Harrison Jr., 6 targets, 2 catches, and 32 yards. I'm curious. I'm starting to get worried a little bit. This may be a dynasty conversation we can have in the offseason, but I think his value has taken a huge hit because
Dump.
you can't make many excuses for him. Like, he has, out of all these rookie receivers, at least the top guys taken, Neighbors, um, Adunze, um, Brian Thomas, and stuff like that. Like, he has one of the best situations where he's the clear cut number one with a good quarterback, an above average quarterback at least. Whatever you think of Kyler, you can't really argue that he's worse than Daniel Jones or Tommy DeVito or Tim Boyle or Mac Jones so and he just hasn't done it. We've seen one really good game from Marvin Harrison Jr. this year. And even then it wasn't like a dominant, like we haven't seen a dominant game from him. Oh my gosh, David Montgomery is out
Yeah.
MCL. That explains why he didn't play much. But with Marvin Harrison, like we haven't seen a game. He hasn't had one game this year with more than 6 catches. So we haven't seen like that 10 for 150 game with 2 touchdowns. We've seen a 2 touchdown game once. We've seen 2 games over 100 yards this year. It's just super disappointing. He doesn't get separation. Like when you watch him play, he's just not separating. Where's the Marvin Harrison? Are they just not using him right in Arizona? Like, where's the Marvin Harrison that we thought was like this generational, best wide receiver prospect ever type of player? We just haven't seen it. So, do you drop him? Like, are you starting to think about in dynasty or just in general? Like, is he below Neighbors? Is he below BTJ?
Yeah, he's below those guys right now, and dropping him, no, that's not in the cards. It's like
No. I mean, like, if someone came to you and said, "I'll give you Brian Thomas Jr. and you trade me Marvin Harrison Jr. in
abs-
dynasty," are you taking it?
absolutely, just based
Yeah.
upon what we've seen, and it's I don't know what the answer is. I mean, so much smoke got blown up this guy's ass, in our fantasy pre-draft and stuff like that, and the draft, the regular NFL draft, it's like, yeah, things don't necessarily, it's basically it's Connor and McBride, the Arizona offense, that's what it's going through. So, do we call this the rookie learning curve or something like that? I don't know. It's definitely different.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's 5th out of rookies in receiving yards. So it's Brian Thomas, Brock Bowers, who needs to
What's
play
his
tonight.
yardage?
687 from Marvin Harrison
How,
Jr. So
many
he's 5th,
catches?
47.
Wow.
So
He thought
fifth in receiving.
he was going to have 80 or 90 and 900 to
Well, I mean,
1,000 yards and 6-8
people
touchdowns. And
people are drafting him in the early second round. But yeah, fifth in receiving. Like I thought when going into this year, I said, okay, like I could see Malik Neighbors having a better year than Marvin Harrison. That's it. I thought he would at worst be second. He's fifth. He's only 100 yards ahead of Roma Dunze. By the way, Roma Dunze needs to play tonight. So that could theoretically, Roma Dunze could have more receiving yards than Marvin Harrison after tonight. He's within the realm of it. He's only 100 yards behind. So he could have a 100-yard game. Like, that's crazy. Like, because Roma Dunze, we expected to have a down year behind Keenan Allen with a rookie quarterback, behind DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, guys like that. You know, like, to me, that's kind of crazy. Only 200 yards ahead of Keon Coleman, who's missed 4 games. So, I don't know. It's just huge disappointment here. So,
yeah.
Last one, we have our potential MVP, Josh Allen. Man, like, the guy's amazing. He just does so much.
Yeah, he was you know, and he doesn't he looks so in control.
Yeah.
You know, that one little touchdown where he comes running out of the pocket and the Lions, you know, linebacker or safety comes running up to tackle him and he just kind of flips the ball in the end zone, you know, and that's like, nah, dude, you ain't getting me. So he just looks so in control. He's using all the players on offense. You know, it's not just Diggs. So, you know, you can see Kincaid, Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, all of it. So Josh Allen, it was an animal yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't defend against him. He is better with all these weapons that he has than just having one singular guy. He has Khalil Shakir and Kincaid and Coleman back. And Murray Cooper is only playing like not even 50% of the snaps. Murray Cooper is just like a luxury piece for them. You know, James Cook, Ty Johnson, Dawson Knox, Curtis Samuel when he's in, like, it's just everything. Plus his ability to run. You just can't defend the guy. Only thing is his defense gonna let him down in the playoffs? Because I don't think their defense, at least the last 2 weeks, hasn't been very good. Kind of like the Lions, they're gonna have to win a shootout, and it's tough to do that for 3 or 4 straight games.
Well, their defense was good enough yesterday. I know they gave up a lot of points and stuff like that, but they were getting the golf a little bit. So I don't know. I know they had some defensive back issues, so and things like that. They kind of get exposed when you get into the playoffs. Teams, you know, you play the better teams. Like the Lions got exposed by, you know, their defensive woes got exposed by Buffalo and Josh Allen and stuff like that. So, you know, if you got some warts, you know, if you got things that are not doing too well, and you might see this with Kansas City too. You know, they seem to win these lucky games and stuff like that. But so we'll see. You know how it's going to shake out.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen, I was thoroughly impressed. You know, I know I've seen the guy a bunch of times before, but he was just so in control, man. Just looked really good.
Yeah, you just hope it's the year for them, you know, in the AFC side of it at least. So, but that is it. We got one more of these before we do kind of a season-long winners and losers, and then we're into off-season stuff. So, goes by quickly. Good luck if you need some performances tonight, and hopefully you make it to your semifinals or your finals, depending on how you play. So
2 games tonight. One's on ABC and one's on ESPN. So,
yep, no streaming tonight. So, but appreciate everyone, and we will see everyone again very soon.